Gilligan isn't even dizzy or lightheaded.
That's because he's dizzy and lightheaded all the time. He's just used to it.
Gilligan, my boy, selected as our astronaut fairly and squarely.
I have? Well, could we take...
Gilligan's Island is the ultimate 60s TV comfort food, but behind its coconut radios and slapstick was a treasure trove of overlooked oddities. Most fans remember the theme and the goofball gags, but plenty of secrets never made it into the usual rerun lore. Here are 15 of the strangest, most unbelievable facts about Gilligan's Island you probably never heard before. Number 1. The cast earned no royalties from reruns. Let's go back to 1964. A tiny island, a motley crew, and slapstick escapades made Gilligan's Island a touchstone of American television. But while the theme song played in living rooms for generations, the original cast saw none of the fortune. During that era, television contracts rarely included future profits from reruns. When the cast gathered on the Culver City set, their paychecks ended with the final episode in 1967. As the show exploded in syndication, airing on TBS, Nick at Night, and local channels for decades, the actors watched millions in revenue slip away. Bob Denver, Dawn Wells, and the rest became beloved faces, but missed out on the windfall that modern performers expect. No mailbox checks, no late-night royalty surprises, just memories and fan mail. It's one of those industry quirks that left Mary Ann, Gilligan, and the skipper famously undercompensated, even as the series survived longer than most shipwrecks. Sometimes the tide never turns. Onward now to more strange truths this tropical sitcom left behind. Number 2. Every castaway got lost again, in reunion movies. A coconut radio squawks, and suddenly the castaways are in trouble again. After Gilligan's Island ended its original run in 1967, fans thought the gang was finally free. But every reunion movie tossed them right back into the absurd. In 1978, the rescue from Gilligan's Island TV movie let everyone escape, only for a twist of fate to trap them once more. The pattern stuck. In the 1979 follow-up, The Castaways on Gilligan's Island, they built a resort on their old home, and still wound up stranded. Even the Harlem Globetrotters got in on the hijinks, joining the marooned crew for a wild basketball caper in 1981. It was classic déjà vu, engineered for both laughter and a warm, goofy nostalgia. Seeing the familiar faces, Bob Denver as Gilligan, Dawn Wells as Mary Ann, back in their tropical purgatory was like flipping the channel and finding an old friend. No matter how many times they'd escape, one twist of fate, and they were right back on that same sandy shore. Some things, it seems, were too much fun to let go. Number 3. The show inspired real-life island survival experiments. Imagine a college classroom in the 1970s, chalk dust in the air, and a professor wheeling in an old television set. Instead of a pop quiz, students are split into groups and told they're stranded like the cast on Gilligan's Island. Yes, universities from Stanford to Syracuse actually used Gilligan's Island as a real-life blueprint to study how people react to being marooned. Students would role-play as Skipper, Gilligan, or even the professor, navigating impossible rescue schemes and coconut radios, all in the name of psychology. These bizarre experiments revealed an odd truth. Real groups often argued even more than the zany TV cast. Tasked with finding leaders or escaping fantasy islands, college students bickered over everything from who would lead to which outlandish plan to try next. The show's goofy logic offered a playful yet surprisingly accurate lens into groupthink and conflict. Laughs aside, reality sometimes outshone fiction in sheer chaos. You can almost hear the theme song echoing outside as the next bell rings, a reminder of how make-believe marooning taught us about our very real quirks, and how the line between sitcom and social science could blur in groovy, unforgettable ways. Number 4. The Minnow was named after a TV executive. Here's a detail even die-hard fans might have missed. The SS Minnow, the iconic little vessel from Gilligan's Island, actually hides a clever inside joke. Its name wasn't plucked from nowhere. Creator Sherwood Schwartz christened it as a winking protest against Newton Minnow, the Federal Communications Commission chairman who, in 1961, famously lambasted television as a vast wasteland. By naming the ever-doomed boat after Minnow, Schwartz was teasing the powers that be, giving a nod to the broader tug-of-war between TV's creative spirits and the suits in Washington. On the surface, the Minnow seemed like just another harmless prop, its fate sealed in every rerun. But in reality, it quietly carried a piece of television's own rocky history right there on its bow. The next time you picture Gilligan wrecking yet another rescue, remember, the SS Minnow was more than a punchline. It was a sly wave at TV's critics, blending humor with a dash of rebellion beneath those sunny opening credits. Who knew one little boat could float such a big story? Number 5. Bob Denver got the dog written out. The sound of waves, the snap of palm fronds. Imagine Gilligan's Island any other way. In the show's unaired pilot, there was a friendly dog named Sniffer trotting alongside the marooned crew. But just as filming began in 1964, Bob Denver, who played Gilligan himself, saw something off. He believed the real soul of the series lay with its human castaways. Why let a four-legged scene stealer tip the balance? Denver convinced the producers to leave Sniffer behind so the chemistry between the skipper, the professor, and the rest of the gang could shine. With that, Sniffer was dropped from the show before America ever tuned in. It's a tiny fork in TV history, a classic what if, that helped shape the legendary sitcom we remember. Sometimes simplicity and a cast of stranded oddballs is all you need for a place in pop culture's memory. Next time you picture Gilligan's Island, you'll know who's missing from that. Bamboo Hut. Let's pause for a second. Did you ever wish Gilligan's Island had more animals, or was the human chaos enough? Which TV show pet made the biggest impression in your childhood? Share your favorite animal sidekick memories below. Number 6. The 3-hour tour route was impossible. Salt water and impossibility washed over every fan who ever studied the map during Gilligan's Island. The show's premise was pure fantasy. A tiny charter boat, the SS Minnow, vanishing somewhere in the vast Pacific after departing Honolulu for what should have been a routine 3-hour tour. Yet if you ever grabbed a globe or stared at a classroom map, one thing became clear. There was no direction they could possibly have sailed that didn't lead to an inhabited island or open shipping lanes. Devoted fans have pored over nautical charts since the show's debut in 1964, with some posting detailed routes on message boards and even writing to Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann, to ask if there was a hidden map in the pilot. Cartographers joked that the SS Minnow would have been rescued before the credits finished rolling, but the impossible geography only added to the charm. The unanswered question still has us scanning blue horizons, wondering just how far you can stretch a 3-hour tour. Number 7. Alan Hale Jr. injured himself and hid it. The slapstick mayhem of Gilligan's Island looked effortless, but behind those palm fronds, real grit was at work. Take Alan Hale Jr., the skipper himself, who broke his arm during filming in the mid-60s. Instead of shutting down production, Hale made a bold choice. He kept filming, camouflaging his bulky cast under loose-fitting coats and shirts. As the cameras rolled through 1964 and beyond on CBS soundstages, Hale powered through pratfalls, tumbles, and all the comedic disaster the set could throw at him. The audience never noticed. His pain stayed hidden beneath sunburned grins and bellowed orders at Gilligan. The crew's respect for his dedication grew, and the show's madcap momentum never slowed for a moment. Next time you watch those wild, physical gags, remember, sometimes the silliest moments are pulled off by actors hiding a lot more than clever lines. The laughter rolled on, undeterred, forging another legend behind the laughter as the Lagoon's adventure sailed forward. Number 8. Ginger. Once had a different backstory. You can almost hear the breeze through those palm trees as we dig into one of Gilligan's Island's earliest secrets. In the show's first drafts, the character of Ginger wasn't the Marilyn Monroe-esque movie star you remember. Instead, she was written as a refined British actress with a sharper accent and a taste for the stage, not the silver screen. But everything changed when Tina Louise auditioned in 1964. With her magnetic presence and New York-tinged glamour, the producers instantly saw Ginger as a sultry Hollywood sensation instead, turning her into the archetype of American movie royalty. It's hard to imagine Ginger without her sequined gowns and old-school starlet airs, but for a moment in TV history, she might have spoken like Dame Judi Dench and favored Earl Grey over martinis. These pivots defined the show's playful clash of personalities and remain part of its offbeat charm. One rewritten script and a casting coup later, Ginger became the icon fans know today. Tomorrow's Castaway tales start here, just past the shoreline of what almost was. Number 9. The radio really worked. Under the palm fronds and bamboo huts of Gilligan's Island, the professor's homemade radio wasn't just a clever prop. It actually worked. Unlike most TV gadgets dreamed up for show, this little radio had real transistor guts inside a shell of driftwood and old dials. The result? Whenever Bob Denver and Russell Johnson gathered around it on set, stagehands sometimes flipped it on between takes. Out drifted news reports from 1960s Los Angeles, interrupting their tropical daydreams with the latest headlines or Dodgers scores. The cast was famously stranded on a soundstage, but those live broadcasts gave them a secret tether to the real world, just out of frame. That touch of authenticity helped the show's madcap survival schemes feel oddly plausible, even as coconuts powered everything imaginable. Gilligan's Island, which first aired in 1964 on CBS, charmed millions with its quirky homemade tech. And for its stars, that radio offered an unexpected lifeline amid all the sand and slapstick. Sometimes what looked like television magic was just a well-built piece of everyday science humming quietly in the background. The island may have been fictional, but that static was real. Number 10. Gilligan's first name was Willy. Here's a mind-bender for die-hard Gilligan's Island fans. The world knows him as simply Gilligan, but creator Sherwood Schwartz once admitted the bumbling first mate really had a proper first name, Willy. In countless interviews years after the show's run, Schwartz cheerfully confessed he'd always imagined Bob Denver's character as Willy Gilligan. Yet not a single episode between 1964 and 1967 ever gave away this secret. The credits, and even the SS Minnow crew referred to him with just that famous last name. Today, some fans take this as gospel. Others claim that if it never aired, it doesn't count. That's part of the quirky magic. The lines between canon and creator's intent stay as hazy as a tropical mirage. Even decades later, whether it's Willy or just Gilligan, the debate keeps fans swapping trivia as the theme song bounces along in the background. Isn't it funny how one missing name can spark so much curiosity? The next mystery awaits just past the palm trees. Number 11. The island was almost a desert. Imagine if that famous lagoon had felt more like Death Valley than a tropical paradise. In the earliest scripts for Gilligan's Island, the stranded castaways were supposed to land on a barren, windswept sand dune, desolate, empty, almost lunar. But as the show came together in 1964, producers made a pivotal switch. Suddenly, palm trees, dense foliage, and bright flowers transformed the island into the heart of a slapstick playground. This small but crucial visual detail opened up endless comedic possibilities, from coconut radios to wild encounters with slap-happy natives. It meant Gilligan and company could swing from vines, build rafts out of bamboo, and hatch madcap escape stunts. This decision didn't just save the show from visual monotony, it built the very world fans would come to cherish. The laughter, chaos, and color of Gilligan's Island owes its spirit to a simple choice: tropical jungle over desert wasteland. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes twist that shows how a setting can define the magic, or the mayhem, that stays with us forever. Number 12. Dawn Wells made most of Mary Ann's outfits. Reach into the sunny world of Gilligan's Island, and you'll find a secret stitched in every ruffle. Dawn Wells, who played the endlessly wholesome Mary Ann, didn't just pose in those signature gingham dresses. She made many of them herself. With the show's first season starting in 1964, the Castaway's wardrobe budget was as skimpy as a stranded suitcase, so Dawn's own sewing skills became a behind-the-scenes superpower. Out came simple sundresses and dreamy country blouses, all handmade to fit the Kansas farm girl vibe. Dawn's handiwork brought a cozy, authentic charm to Mary Ann that no Hollywood seamstress could mass-produce. Every hem and checkered trim reflected that homespun sweetness fans still talk about today. It's a reminder that sometimes a threadbare budget sparks a truly memorable style. And for anyone glued to the reruns, you can just about feel that soft cotton and remember your own favorite homemade outfit. Next, the charm of the island only gets deeper. Number 13. The theme song nearly left out. The Professor and Mary Ann. Picture yourself, radio dial clicking to life, hearing that catchy theme from Gilligan's Island. But in the very first season back in 1964, the lyrics barely gave the full cast their due. The song famously introduced the Skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, then sailed right past both the Professor and Mary Ann, simply calling them "and the rest." It was more than a slight. Fans noticed, and so did Bob Denver, who played Gilligan himself. Denver used his clout to insist the two left-out castaways got named in the opening credits. Thanks to his advocacy and letters from devoted viewers, the familiar version we sing today soon named every Castaway. It was a moment when the power of fans and a little Hollywood camaraderie reshaped TV history. Next time you hum along, imagine how different the roll call would have felt without that warm shout-out to every member of the stranded crew. Number 14. The skipper's real name isn't Skipper. Every kid studying that desert island map remembers the skipper barking orders and swinging his captain's hat. But did you know Skipper isn't actually his real name? Deep in the pilot episode of Gilligan's Island, which first aired in 1964, he's addressed as Jonas Grumby, a detail so quietly slipped in, most fans missed it. But after that, he was forever the Skipper, the blustering, lovable leader to Gilligan's goofball sidekick. Alan Hale Jr.'s booming presence made the nickname stick, turning it into one of sitcom television's most iconic titles. The writers rarely used Jonas Grumby again, letting the nautical handle cement itself into pop culture. For millions, the skipper just felt right, like calling your favorite teacher by their first name. Somehow, it doesn't fit. The reveal is a blink-and-you'll-miss-it moment, but it's a reminder that even the best TV legends have secrets tucked away behind the palm trees. As the island sun sets on this fact, you might wonder, what other TV names were hiding right under our noses? Number 15. The Lagoon was built in a studio backlot. That shimmering lagoon on Gilligan's Island looked tropical on your living room TV. But in reality, it was built on the CBS Studio Center lot right in Los Angeles. Picture a half-acre crater dug into solid ground. Crews shaped every palm tree, every patch of sand, and piped in hundreds of gallons of water. Each morning, trucks would rumble in, replenishing the lagoon so the castaways could splash and scheme under Hollywood sunshine. The air smelled faintly of chlorinated water mingled with eucalyptus from the nearby trees. When the show ended in 1967, CBS didn't hesitate. Bulldozers leveled the entire set, wiping away the island's traces like the fading memory of a dream. All that remained was studio pavement. No coconut huts, no rafts, just the echo of laughter and theme song refrains. For fans, it was a bittersweet close to television's quirkiest slice of paradise, a reminder that even legendary islands can disappear without a trace. Next, let's discover another secret tucked behind the scenes.